You know who's not giving up on Jack Smith and the election interference type prosecution of Donald Trump? Attorneys general around the country, including Arizona's own Chris Mays, who has, knowing about Judge Cannon's efforts to block the special report, has made a request to the Department of Justice addressed to Merrick Garland for his case file against Donald Trump, about Donald Trump in all matters, especially the D.C. election interference case, have that delivered to her so that she can continue to prosecute the 18 different co-conspirators, not named Donald Trump, in Arizona for election interference there. I'm Michael Popok. You're on the MeidasTouch Network and Legal AF. That was a mouthful. Let me break it down for you. Chris Mays, the Attorney General for Arizona, has been prosecuting a case against 18 co-conspirators along with Donald Trump, although Donald Trump is an unnamed co-conspirator, but it includes big names like Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, the former chief of staff for Donald Trump, and Mike Roman. Some of those overlapping with the Georgia prosecution, which is on life support, and that's putting it nicely. Chris Mays wrote a letter. It's dated yesterday on Sunday, January the 12th, directed to Merrick Garland. Let me read to you about it, and then I'll unpack it and tell you what it's all about. It says, "Dear Attorney General Garland, I am writing to request that the Department of Justice disclose to my office, the Arizona Attorney General, its case file and special counsel's investigation and prosecution of the 2020 presidential election known as the election case, as authorized by a recent order issued by the Maricopa County Superior Court." She's got a judge in Maricopa County that's over the 18 defendant case of hers, who's issuing orders about information that should go to these defendants. Early in my term as Arizona's Attorney General, my office sought access to the special counsel's materials in this case. Oh, that's interesting. We're learning that early on in her case, she asked for cooperation from the special counsel, and at the time, he was not ready or able to share his material, she says. Today, your office does not have an active case and is preparing to release the election case special report. For background, she says on page 1, a statewide grand jury in Arizona indicted 18 individuals who are alleged to have engaged in fraud, a fraudulent scheme to overthrow our democracy in 2020. Giuliani, Roman, Meadows, others in Arizona. The grand jury's indictment included charges against both national and Arizona-based individuals, including Arizona's 11 fake electors. Today, my office has one of the only remaining cases that includes charges against national actors, trying to hold people accountable for trying to subvert democracy in 2020. Undoubtedly, Attorney General Mays continues, disclosing the special counsel's file to my office will help ensure that those who should be held accountable are. But I am also Arizona's chief law enforcement officer, and I am a minister of justice. I must be sure the rights of the defendants are protected as well, and I should welcome any exculpatory material that the special counsel possesses. In other words, give me your file. And particularly, if there's anything in there that tends to prove their innocence, exculpatory. I am a prosecutor, she's saying. I do have, as an officer of the court, a duty. Turn it over to me, I'll turn it over to them. That's what Mark Meadows is seeking in that case, and a judge has ordered that whatever is in the care, custody, and control of the Attorney General, of course, be turned over. We call that Brady material, sometimes Jenks material, over to a defendant to help them prove their defense or help them with their defense. Now, things that are in the federal hands are not seen as being in the care, custody, and control of a state prosecutor, hence this letter, and she wants the information too. In other words, she wants Jack Smith, in this case, Merrick Garland, to lateral the ball to her, give her the file, and let her figure out how she can use it in the Attorney General case. She said she's also aware on page 2 that the Attorney General has already disclosed the election interference case to the defense. We know that. First week in January, Jack Smith gave Donald Trump's lawyers the ability for half a day to look through the hundreds and hundreds of pages. They wrote a 15-page response, which we have seen because they have filed it in the Mar-a-Lago case before Judge Cannon. Of course, Chris Mays knows about it, and she references it here. To be sure, she says on page 2, my office has all incriminating and exculpatory evidence possessed by the special counsel. I'm requesting that you disclose the entire file to me. She then does a shot a proper shot at Judge Cannon, where she says nothing in Judge Cannon's orders prohibits disclosure of the underlying investigative file to the election case. In other words, she only blocked the report. At a minimum, the Department of Justice can disclose its material in the election case, but as with your statement in recent pleadings, it is in the public interest to disclose the special counsel's report as well. She's encouraging them to release the special counsel's report as well. She attaches a bunch of other things in there. Mark Meadows filed a motion to get a hold of some items. And then she said, look, I might be able to get this from a Freedom of Information Act, a FOIA request. The start of a new year is the perfect time to get organized, set goals, and prioritize what matters most. For me, a top priority is my financial wellness, which feels more important than ever now that I'm going full-time with my media work. And I've opened a new law firm. Thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable. They show me all of my subscriptions right in one place and help me easily cancel ones that I forgot I've been paying for. Rocket Money also pulls together all of my spending across all of my different accounts, so I can clearly track my spending habits and see where I can cut back. Let me give you an example of Rocket Money in my life. Missing out on a show that everyone is talking about isn't an option for me. I'm constantly signing up for this streaming service or that one. And then a few months later, I realize I've still been paying for the service long after I finished the show. Getting Rocket Money was a game changer for me. They'll find your unwanted subscriptions and even help you cancel them, so you never have to worry about them slipping through the cracks. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. You can see all of your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going. For ones you don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel them. Rocket Money's dashboard gives you a clear view of your expenses across all of your accounts. Rocket Money's new goals feature automatically saves money for you so you don't have to think about it. Pay off credit card debt, put away money for a house, or just build your savings. Rocket Money makes it easy. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save. Then you can ask them to negotiate for you. They'll deal with customer service so you don't have to. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/legalaf today. That's rocketmoney.com/legalaf. One more time, rocketmoney.com/legalaf. We've done a lot of conversation here on the MeidasTouch Network about the role of FOIA. FOIA is a way for the public and the media to get their hands on documents that perhaps the government or judges don't want to turn over. So the media, often, we're actually considering doing this in the MeidasTouch and Legal AF, making a FOIA request to get our hands, our hot little hands, on this information that is buried away in the inner recesses of the Department of Justice. For instance, Mar-a-Lago, Volume 2, related to the Mar-a-Lago espionage case. I mean, right now, Garland is negotiating, he's handling a little bit with the ranking members of the Senate and the House Judiciary Committees about them seeing it only in camera, meaning they can't get a copy. They can just look at it on a screen and to keep it confidential. He hasn't reached that agreement yet, but that's how he's planning to turn over Volume 2. That means the public doesn't get it. And we know when Pam Bondi comes in as Attorney General and Donald Trump is the head of the Department of Justice, his own Department of Justice, we're never going to see it, Mar-a-Lago. This is a way to see it, right? See, not just having Jamie Raskin do a 20-minute hot take on the MeidasTouch Network or be interviewed about what he read, but actually get the report through a Freedom of Information Act request. It's not an ongoing investigation. The investigation is over as soon as Donald Trump pardons the co-conspirators in Florida for Donald Trump, the butler and the maintenance worker, and the case will be over. It's in the public interest then. That's why judges will often strip away protective redaction and blackline in documents as the case progresses, and certainly when it's over, so that we can finally see things like grand jury transcripts and underlying data and documents. That's the role. That's the very good role in our supposedly open and transparent society about information of FOIA requests to the government, public records requests to the government. That's one way. I've done another hot take, and I'll continue to kind of update you on it. The grand jury transcripts of the dozens and dozens and dozens of witnesses against Donald Trump and the others is also up for grabs. Cannon can't block the ones related to the DC election interference case, although she's trying to block the report. That's really the province, the jurisdiction, and the remit of Judge Chutkan in DC about whether those future grand jury transcripts, now that the cases are over, are going to be released. If I'm the media, attention MeidasTouch and Legal AF, file a FOIA request for the grand jury transcripts and file a motion to have Judge Chutkan unseal the ones for the DC election interference case, especially now while we're waiting around for the report. Let me read the witness statements. Let me read the witness under oath transcripts. So we'll follow all of this, including, as I've said, the attorneys general are not going away. And they want the ball lateral to them to continue to protect democracy. I'm Michael Popok doing the same thing right here on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.